This is a short presentation on what I think AAU's assessment website should look like. First of all, we consider the dashboard. This is the assessment cycle and also will be the results for the institutional core competencies across the university, not by program. First of all, right here at the top, we want to insert a link for the assessment schedule so that people will know when each ICC is being measured. We note here that the color coding matches the color coding that we're using for the ICCs on our ICC PLO map and on our course curriculum maps. So knowing that information literacy and quantitative reasoning were done in 2014, we had done written communication before that, but it is on the schedule to be measured again in 2017. Critical thinking is 2015, and in 2016 we will be doing oral communication as well as our ethics and diversity. So we note here that each one of these boxes is color-coded, and the time that they were most recently assessed or will be assessed in their schedule is on this page, but the link for the assessment schedule will show where they occur in their 5-year given cycle. So when you click on the box, and by the way, the definition of information literacy will be included in its box, the definition for quantitative reasoning. Each ICC's definition will be included inside the box. It was just too small to do it in this PowerPoint. So when you click on the box, there will be a little pop-up that will show how many of our students met or exceeded the expectations in achieving quantitative reasoning in 2014 at the associate's level, and what percent of our students met or exceeded expectations in achieving quantitative reasoning at the bachelor's level, and this is institution-wide. And the same thing on the information literacy, that institution-wide with all of our programs we're going to show how many of our students met or exceeded the expectations. We'll also have a link to the documentation, the PDF files, but that will not be in this little dashboard. The thing about the link to the PDF files is that that will show our sample sizes, and it will also show our data analysis, and it will also show, for instance, things like the number of non-completes that we have. Each box that is not being assessed, when someone comes in and pops up on it, it will just tell them when the information will come into that box. So information literacy and quantitative reasoning are done. In 2015 we will have the critical thinking, but the other ones will just have pop-up boxes that say when the assessment will actually be done on those. So other things that I think that need to be included on the actual website, not just the dashboard. We want to build upon the past, so we want to include that 2014 full assessment plan, the one that we have now. We want to have links to PDF files, as we do now, for our measurements of program learning outcomes as they exist in each program. We want to show that our programs are reviewed on a 5-year cycle. We want links to each program's full review, and we also want to include our co-curricular programs. But we're going to continue to build on these chronologically. So we will move these to an archived or a historical data spot, so that anybody that wants to go in and look at them or see where we've come historically will have access to those right on the website. But roadmap to the future will be links to the 2015 or in the future the 16, 17, or 18 years plan, with everything moving back 1 year chronologically, but all still accessible on the website. The current year's plan would have an executive summary. It would also have a short YouTube video explaining the executive summary, so somebody could just click on the YouTube, they would be able to see that executive summary, and they wouldn't have to read the whole 20 or 30 page plan unless they particularly wanted to. We also want to make sure that we include links to our curriculum maps, and I think it would be a nice idea to include links to our pathway videos. We want to do things like explain our proficiency descriptors and rubrics. We want to explain our program learning outcomes, and there may be other information that we would like to explain, such as how other departments see their interaction with assessment and the assurance of learning. So looking back and looking ahead, annually we will summarize the results of the prior year's plan. We'll do that in February when the December cohort completes its courses. At the end of January, we'll do this with a short written summary and a short YouTube video. We will assess how well we did on the prior year's plan and make any adjustments as we're moving forward into creating the current year's plan. And we'll have a short executive summary just of how did we do and where are we going. So we'll keep that YouTube video of the so what available to the public and to students, and also create the now what executive summary for the plan to make changes in the current year. We can keep those links up to the full prior year's plan and its executive summary, but we can house them a little bit differently. We can either put them in a sidebar or we can put them in a little box at the bottom of the page. What we want to do primarily is make sure that history is there, but we don't want to emphasize it. We want to emphasize what we're currently in the midst of doing. Over time, we may want to delete the links to the prior YouTube videos. We don't want this page to become, 60 miles long. But if it takes them to a separate page, then as much history as we can build in will show where we've been plus where we're going. I also want to include some links to websites that educate students and the public about assessment and about best practices in assessment. And this kind of shows where we get our information and guidance from. The National Institution of Learning Outcome Assessment, AAC&U, Assessment Commons, the AALHE, the Lumina Foundation, and we may give some consideration to including WASC as well. These are some pages that I looked at that were where I got some of my ideas from. So if you're kind of wanting to look and see how other websites and other schools that are well known or have done a good job in this, these are some ideas that you can just go take a look at. So this is actually Loma Linda's website. You can see they have their curriculum map, they have their assessment matrix. We're using proficiency descriptors and rubrics instead, but you can see that they have included their strategy, their cycle, their SLO rubrics, what SLO resources there are, and also some other external websites such as the National Institute for Learning Outcomes Assessment. And actually, the idea for including the assessment cycle is right down here on the bottom, and as you click on these, it actually does pull all the way up through. So that's where I wanted to line ours up in our color coding instead. Alverno has got some great resources, and then some ideas for the future. This is Alverno's other page, and this is how they give you the links to look at their snapshot, which is their dashboard, and also some of the other information that they have. They do include their graduation and retention, but I know that we're keeping that on our IR page. And the future dashboard, this is just kind of some things that it looks like, things that we can include on ours, and this is where I want to put our part of the dashboard that's color-coded to our ICCs. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.